Hello there, it's the football show, and it's Monday, and it's nice to be with you again today. Hope your weekend was good, and the week has been so good so far. And it's a Monday, and today we're here to talk about football. I'm not going to be talking about football alone. I have my usual suspect, Amos, who is here with me today again. Today we're going to be talking quite a lot about. We talk about Premier League, we talk about the Super Eagles, and of course, the World Cup qualifiers are coming up this weekend. I'm talking about starting from Saturday 13th, and obviously, that the Super Eagles are going to be playing the Moroccans, the Atlas Lion. Sorry, not the Moroccans, the Liberians. Beg your pardon. It's going to be the Super Eagles v the Liberians in Tangier, in Morocco. Liberia are now playing all their games in Morocco because all the stadiums in like Monrovia and Liberia, wherever, are not up to the standard of CAF and obviously FIFA. So all their home games will be played in Morocco. So we're going to be talking about that too. And obviously, the breaking news that came through about a few hours ago, a couple of hours ago, one of Nigeria's superstars, Nigerian Super Eagles goalkeeper, Maduka Emilio Okoye, has will be joining Premier League club Watford from the 1st of January 2022. Good move for him? No? Yes? We'll be discussing that today. And obviously, if you're watching, please don't forget to subscribe to the show. Obviously, leave your comments in, and we can also discuss whatever your comments are about the Super Eagles, about the Premier League. Newcastle's got a new head coach. Because someone, a Nigerian also, might be the director of football at Newcastle. We're talking about Michael Eminalo. Michael was the technical director of Chelsea Football Club, and I went to Monaco. And very, very hopeful he's going to be coming back to the Premier League with Newcastle as the director of football. We're going to be discussing all this. Again, if you're watching, subscribe to us, give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing, and obviously leave your comments, and we will also discuss your comments, okay? Like I said, I'm not alone today. My name is Wale, by the way. I'm not alone today. I've got Amos with me. Amos, thanks for joining us today. How are you? How was your weekend? How was your week last week? And that's Monday so far, and obviously you were watching football. Was it yesterday or day before watching as a journalist, not as a fan now, watching Sheffield United and what team? Or was it Sheffield Wednesday? Sorry, you're mute.
Oh my.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, I can hear you
Yeah.
now.
So good day, everybody. I hope you had a good weekend. For me, I had quite a busy weekend. Yesterday,
Mm,
I had to go to S6 to watch Sheffield Wednesday versus Plymouth Agai. So it was an
mm,
FA Cup game, and then it ended 0-0. It was a slow start, but it got interesting, and then both teams were missing a couple of chances here and there. But it was quite enjoyable for me because it was my first press box experience in the UK. So I I enjoyed the moments and then gained a lot of access within the stadium. It was quite good for me, really. I enjoyed myself.
And obviously, there's quite a whole lot of difference between being a press box at the Premier, or not Premier League, the English Football League club side,
Mm.
and whatever you've been used to back in Nigeria. What's the high point of it? What would you say were the major difference between what you experience back in Africa and your experience in England at Sheffield Wednesday?
I think basically it's all about the level of organization. You can't take that out. It's a lot more organized. The journalists know their bandwidths. Everybody knows where they ought to be at a particular time. You've got stewards here and there directing fans, making sure that they are where they should be. And then at the press box, it's just for press alone. You know, in some other parts of in some other parts of the world, you find that accessing that part where you would find press it's even a lot more difficult because fans would encroach, So, but it's a lot more organized. That's the
Mm,
major difference, But barring that, or aside from that, there's really nothing much to say. It's just the facilities you've got access to, the level of
mm.
organization, and then you meet with the coaches, you meet with the players, you have that access, to do whatever it is that you want to do, and then there's also some refreshment.
Refreshments. Another high point. Oh, well, it was good you enjoyed your baptism of fire, being a journalist reporting from an English Football League club side. Well, a couple of hours ago, we had our breaking news that Maduka Okoye from Sparta Rotterdam, and I know we've spoken about Maduka a couple of
Mm,
times on this show,
mm,
what he's been doing for the Super Eagles so far. Brilliant with the Super Eagles. I signed a 5.5 and a half years deal with Watford, which was it's not slowly becoming a semi Super Eagles team. Or maybe they
mm,
will be called, they won't be called their nickname, the Hornets anymore. They'll be called Super Eagles in quote, because you have three Super Eagles players then Trusek Kong, Emmanuel Dennis, and Peter Tebo
mhm,
already there. Um,
mhm,
One clean sheet in 13 games for Sparta Rotterdam. He's going to be joining Watford from well, the Dutch league in January 1st, 2022. Is this a good move for Maduka? I mean, English Premier League is a total ball game from the Dutch league, obviously.
mm,
Watford are not in a very comfortable position at the moment. They need everything within their power to get out of that relegation zone. They've already got Claudio Ranieri. Things are not going too well for them. They lost to Arsenal over the weekend 1-0, though that goal could as well be contentious due to poor gamesmanship or sportsmanship or whatever you call it. Arsenal fans won't give a hoot about that. Is this a right move for Maduka at this time of his career? 22, by the way. He's just 22.
I think for us Nigerians, we'll rejoice really because
Mm-hmm.
it's good that we're able to see him in a more visible league. It's good that
Yeah.
we're able to see him week in, week out. If he's not playing, we know. But the
Mm.
only fear, just like you also or rightly said at the background, was is he going to be getting game time? That's another question. It doesn't, but the good side is it doesn't move just yet. He's still going to be at Rotterdam for now. I mean, Maduka for me, I've seen him with the Super Eagles. I've watched him with Rotterdam. He's not a bad goalkeeper, really, because for his age, he's 22. At 22,
Mm.
pulling off this kind of saves, that tells you that
Mm.
Maduka is quite good. He's not a bad
Yeah.
goalkeeper at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with age, it will come good. With goalkeepers, the older they get, the better they
The
become.
better. Yeah.
That's one spectacular thing about goalkeepers. As they age, they begin to pull up some incredible saves, and you're like, oh my god, this guy is really getting better. Go and check their age. You'll see that they're over 30, and
Mm.
or maybe they are close to 30. But for him, 22, getting to sign for a Premier League side is huge. Is huge.
It
Is
is.
really huge.
Mm.
And another thing is, I look at how he has progressed over time, over the years, and I feel like it's quite good for his career because
Mm.
um, about 2 years ago or thereabout, he was playing in a third division or second division. No, in a third division. And then later he moved to Sparta Rotterdam, and then now he has moved to a Premier League team.
Mm.
So that tells you that they're not stupid. The guys who are signing these guys, they're not stupid. They know what they've seen. Even if the agents are a bit more influential, or maybe the agents, of course, the agents are not going to be in goal for him. They've
Mm-hmm.
seen what he can do. They've watched him both for the national team and then at Sparta Rotterdam. We're talking just last week. We were talking about the goal that Cyril
Yeah.
Dessers scored, and
Scored
then
against them.
Cyril took the
Mm.
shine off Maduka. we're literally talking about how outstanding he was at that
Yeah.
game in that game,
Mm.
and we've seen some of these games where he pulled a lot of heroics and he became man of the match. He still got it. He still got it. Good one for him. Good one for his management. I mean, this is huge. Premier League,
It
it's no
is.
joke. The last time we saw a Nigerian goalkeeper was Vincent Enyama in the Premier League, and since then we've not seen any.
Mm.
Or have we? Can you remember
And
any? Wally?
no, 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 no. It's got, usually Nigerian goalkeepers don't tend to come
They don't
this
tend to come
side
to,
of
yeah.
you of Europe. Spain maybe, and obviously
Hmm.
the Dutch league. We know the late Wilfred Agbodvare was excellent when he was at Rayo Vallecano in Spain. We know about Peter Rufai, Dodoma himself
Yeah.
um, in Europe, but they don't tend to come to England. So for Maduka to step into a team battling relegation, and obviously a Premier League team, you're going to be facing the likes of Harry Kane, Lukaku, Timo
It
Werner,
doesn't get bigger than it doesn't
Ronaldo.
get bigger
It
than this,
doesn't
really.
get any bigger than this. I mean,
So
and
that's
and
yeah.
I so much like his courage, the fact that he is now dipping his toes into troubled waters, I say. But it takes courage, even if he might have been influenced by his agents or whoever, or, by colleagues who play for Watford anyway. As Super Eagles, I think it takes a lot of courage. I mean, just like he said, he played for Fortuna Düsseldorf in the German league,
Yeah.
probably in the third league, before
Yeah.
coming to Sparta Rotterdam. I played for the U team, Young as Rotterdam, before going to Sparta itself. The progression is interesting, and it just needs to probably displays Ben Foster in
Ben
goal
Foster.
for Watford, and that's
It will,
it. I
it will be
mean,
really difficult.
it's going to be difficult, but don't forget, Ben is probably on the last leg of his career at the moment. So having a young player that is fresh with new ideas, willing to learn, he's just 22 and he's got that experience of playing top games for Super Eagles of Africa, of Nigeria, So and no doubt, injury permitting, is going to be number one if we qualify for the World Cup. I think it's a
Yeah,
good thing
exactly.
for him.
Exactly. That's the perspective I was looking to bring into this. So we'll be going to the World Cup, hopefully, or the Nations Cup, and you want your goalkeepers to be on form. You want them to be top shape. You want them to be playing against the best of the best. Our producer was talking about getting players with experience. Just last week, he was talking about getting players with
Yeah, yeah.
experience who have seen it at the highest stage, who can really combat when it comes to playing the best teams in the world. When we start playing the likes of Morocco, or maybe with the likes of Algeria, or maybe the likes of Egypt, at that point in time, you want to have players who can man up to it.
Hmm.
So I think overall, it's a good move for Maduka, and I'm happy that our players are beginning to move to where it really matters.
Yes,
Look at
yes.
the crop of players that we have. Majority of them now play in where exactly where it matters, where you want football to be talked about, or where
Hmm.
you can't every weekend you have to see them. So that's
Yes.
what we want to see. It's just a few of them that are still playing in quote obscure places, but
Hmm.
for the larger percentage of the squad, they all play somewhere where it matters in the Premier League, in France, in
Italy.
Spain,
Hmm.
Italy, exactly. So they play in the Champions League, play in the Europa, play in Germany, and this is good for us. We're beginning to build that pedigree that we used to have again. At some point, look at the likes of Kanu, JJ, Olise. These guys were top guys. They
Hmm.
were playing in the best. They were playing with the best players in this world. And I think that's how we got to get this status of giants of Africa, because our players, every time they show up, you see, but unfortunately, we can't really say the same these days. But I think we're getting there gradually again. We're getting there gradually.
I think we're getting there. We've got players all over the world, scattered all over the world, playing just like you said in the Champions League, in top league sides. And I beg to add to that all we need now is a world class coach or manager. Okay, that's that. So
Do you really want to go there now?
I don't want to go there. I don't want us to go there. Let us that. Let us see what Mr. Roa will do with the qualifiers and the Nations Cup. Then we'll know what to do after that.
Yeah.
So, talking about Maduka and all, obviously he's going to be in camp in Tangier to be in goal, hopefully, when the Super Eagles take on Liberia on the 13th on Saturday. What are your thoughts about that? We are likely to see the return of Odion Igalo. I know we spoke at length about him last edition. So but we've got him back. He has not said he's not going to come. We're looking forward to coming. The camp is already bubbling at the moment. People are getting ready to play the Liberians. At the moment, we are 9 points. The Super Eagles are 9 points in Group C ahead of Cape Verde. Do you think the Liberians are going to cost us any trouble? Because one thing we need to understand: there are no more small teams. In the past, we could probably say it's just Liberia, and I'll go play them with their own base team. But nowadays, there's nothing like that. We already saw what a small team can do when we were leading 4-0 and they came back and made it 4-4. So this game against Liberia, what are your thoughts towards it? Are we certain to beat them? Especially, don't forget that Liberia they are at home, but they are not at home. They are going to be playing Morocco. Very good pitch. So no need to complain about anything this time around.
I mean, there can't be any complaint. If we are playing Liberia in Tanja, I've been to Tanja before. The first international tournament I went to was in Morocco, and it was held in about 5 cities, 5 different venues. And trust me, they've got really good facility when it comes to Morocco. The stadium is fun. The stadium or every of the stadium you visit is fantastic. They got good turf, good pitches. There's no complaint about the. I was listening to General sometime last week. He was speaking on a radio show with Better TV, I think. So, and then they were talking about Nigeria not having enough facility, enough good pitches, and he was saying, oh, Cameroon already has about 10. These are some of the infrastructural development that we want to see in Nigeria. So coming to this game against Liberia, I don't think Liberia should be a scare or a worry for us, because except we just mess things up, except we don't come good, except our players don't come good on the day. All things being equal, I believe that the Super Eagles have enough or whatever it takes to defeat these guys. All we just need is just a win from those 2 games, and then we get to the playoff rounds. Very interesting is that Liberia has got 2 home games. For us, it's 1 home game and 1 away game. And another team that has got that needs to be worried is maybe Cape Verde. The Cape Verde is the worry. It should be the side that are worried. For us, we'll be playing our last game at home in Lagos. So whatever we get from this game on Thursday, is it Thursday now? Yeah. Whatever we get from this game, the first game against Liberia, will determine how we are going to really approach the final game. I think if we are able to get maximum points, we'll be on 12 points already. And then that does it all for us. So General can begin to look at the new players that he's got. But I see him approaching this game with every seriousness. He doesn't want to joke, and that's the reason perhaps why he had brought in Odion Igalo, even if some of us still believe that Odion Igalo has no place right now in the team, has no reason to be in this team. But he's the coach. He knows what his team lacks. We're not coaches. You and I are not coaches. we're
Definitely, yeah.
journalists, we're media professionals, we're fans, we're supporters of the Super Eagles. We want the team to do well, and that's what's of utmost priority. So everything we care about, or whatever all Nigerians should care about, is results. Play good football, don't lose, and then secure the maximum points. Teams, we're still playing Cape Verde, CAR, Liberia, and we begin to worry. What do we do when we start playing the likes of Algeria? So if we start getting worried now, well, I'm not being too arrogant that we're going to sweep Liberia under the carpet, like they don't matter. They do matter. But with the crop of players that we have Victor Osimhen leading our attack. We've got all of these players. Moses Simon, he was also good at the weekend. Ejuke, Ndidi is back. Kelechi here, Nacho, our back line, they're all good. I saw Ola, played, last week. He was really good. He really had a very nice game. We've also seen Zaidu Sanusi. He played in the Champions League for Porto. He was also on his good day. We know what these players are capable of, except they just don't turn up. Except we just have that kind of game that we had in Lagos, where everything just didn't work, and then these boys came at us. They came all out. They took their chance. So if we don't lose our guards, I don't think Liberia should come out of this one unscathed, because we've got guys who are firing on all fronts right now. Even Odion Igalo himself is firing, but you still question if you want him to be in that squad, But hey, he's the coach, and I'm glad the players are arriving in camp already. So
And I tell you what, I think, as much as I also question his return to the Super Eagles, I'm talking about Dionigallo, I think he might be reaching in his stars. And we probably would just win by 1 goal that day against the Liberians. And guess what? Odionigallo scores
Igalo
it.
might be the
And
scorer.
and we'll come back to celebrate him.
And then
And
Mr. Ross just keeps quiet and say, "I told you
I,
guys. I
I told
told
you
you."
that. I told you guys, just like you said, all we want.
Another interesting thing is that Uzoho is going to be missing. We hear he's ill. So this gives room for Maduka
The Imba
Okoye
team.
to still be the number one.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and then we saw another funny invite. Uh, John Noble of Eimba
Imba.
was was invited by General, and I was wondering, okay, why did he invite this guy? Because I really don't understand the reason behind inviting John Noble. John Noble has not been in goal this season. He has not kept even in the CAF game that Eimba are playing. So how does he get to be in the squad? Even if he's not going to be in goal in the game proper, but you still question, hey man, what's going on? You've got goalkeepers everywhere. There's Yakubu Matthew somewhere in Europe, and you can bring player, and you see how the Nigeria professional football league keep doing our own base players a lot of disservice, right?
Yes.
It's a lot of problem that the league is causing for our players. They can't compete favorably when it comes to invitation to the national team. You imagine, just because they're not playing, and we're beginning to question why a coach invites a national team, a player of Aimba International, and okay, the only reason is, because he's not been playing. Why don't we have a league functioning right now? We don't even know. We're not even sure when the league's going to start. So there's a lot of problems here and there. And then Osime as well, he was injured and he's back now. Thank God. We're happy that Osime is also back. He's been good. I hope that, because the one thing you fear, or everybody fears really for players, is when they're scoring and then they get this break with an injury. It becomes a
Yeah.
really big problem coming back. I was listening to someone talking about Van Dijk this morning, and he says he doesn't think Van Dijk will come back to be the player he used to be, just because of injury. We know how hurting it can be and how devastating it can be for footballers, especially a striker, finding that form, hitting that form again. But let's wait and see. The game is just a few days away, you know.
It is just a few days away. And talking about the players that probably will be missing, we've talked about players. Nigeria has got abundance of them everywhere. And one of them was in action against Mourinho's team in Roma in Serie A for Venezia, David Okereke, that scored actually. And he's not actually never been given a look in by Roa. We also had Tyronne Ebuehi that also plays for Venezia. So David Okereke scored that goal against Roma. Obviously,
Hmm.
Venezia beat Roma, Mourinho's team, 3-2 in that game. Exactly. So, I mean, we've talked about on this program, we've talked so many times about the talent Nigeria's got, especially going forward, the attackers, multiple, multiple talents, and that's Tyronne Ebuehi. He also plays for Venezia. So, these guys are doing well in their various clubs. We talked about was it two episodes ago or so when we talked about the likes of Simi or Onoachu, Simi that played wonderfully well in Syria, scored an X amount of goals,
Hmm.
and the team he played for obviously got relegated. David Okereke is there playing for Venezia, who obviously at the moment probably punching above their weight. Players like this, do you think that there'll be a time when they'll get fed up? Like, I'm doing all I can, I'm scoring goals, I'm playing week in, week out. I don't get a look in. Maybe I should reconsider probably playing for another national team. And we've seen that in the past. I remember back in the days, a certain Emmanuel David that played for Poland because obviously he was never given a look in by the dense Super Eagles.
Hmm.
I know a few of our players used to play for Malta too. Would you say, well, all right, you're right in going to seek greener pastures for another country or another country if they call you, or if they want you, or if they feel you've qualified to play for them? Um, not because it's their fault, not because it's the fault of the Super Eagles scouting team or the manager, but because we have abundance of talent anyway. You cannot get all these attackers in to play for Super Eagles, can you?
Hmm. I'll cite an instance now. There's this player called Ike Ubo.
Mm,
Just last week we saw what happened. A minute we saw that the Nigeria Football Federation has already was already almost or were at the verge of getting all the paperwork done and everything. And then the next minute we hear that is been announced by Canada, and then you begin to wonder what's going on, what's the truth here? You're not sure what exactly the situation is with these players. But hey, with these ones, especially Tyronne Ebuehi. Tyronne Ebuehi is already a Super Eagles player. He
hmm
has already had some games with the Super Eagles, and you know how Raw finds it. But I still find it a bit awkward that it doesn't come for the Super Eagles games all the time. Since he left. Since he left Eredivisie, I think he's been a bit quiet with the Super Eagles, but yeah, he has had his time, I would say, with
mm,
the Super Eagles.
mm,
Perhaps Raw is looking for something else, and he also has someone to battle with. He also has Ola, to battle with on the role.
hmm
There is Shehu Abdullahi, and Shehu,
hmm
Raw sticks with his old guards. Raw is that kind
Yeah.
of a
Mm,
person that it doesn't change his squad easily.
mm,
He believes in those guys who have done it for him. He feels that, oh, for me to change anything, there has to be something spectacular or extraordinary that the player has done to warrant such a change. So for Tyrone, I feel he just has to keep doing whatever it is that he needs to do. But I don't think he should regret. He shouldn't even regret playing for Nigeria at all, because hey, he's still a young man.
yeah.
He's still got age on his side. He's still about 25 years old, and he can still come good, really good if he continues to play well for his club, and everybody can see. So at some point, people would make case for you, and then you can see how the voice of the fans sometimes increases the visibility, and then the coach would have no choice but to say, "Hey, I have to bring on this player." So when everybody
Mm-hmm.
sees that, oh, this guy has to be in this team. You remember what happened with the case of Onuachu? When he was dropped at some point, his name was not on the list, and everybody shouted, "Why? How would you drop your best player who's scoring goals here and there, and then you don't bring him to the national team? How would you justify that?" So, but if some of these players are still on the average, if they are not that, if they're not doing things um, that that catches the eyes, it becomes a bit difficult for the coach to say, "Oh, I prefer this guy over this guy," especially when you have a very competitive role to play.
Mm.
When you're playing in a wing where you have about maybe 3, 4 people who can play the same position. It becomes a matter of, okay, who would I prefer to go with when I want to go forward? Who goes forward? Tyronne Ebuehi, he goes forward really well, you know. But you don't get a raw. I think he's right. He prefers a much more defensive right fullback, because that's what
Yeah.
we've seen, over time. That's what we've seen, and that's why Zaidu Sanusi, every time it comes to the team, is sometimes asked to sit back, and then he doesn't explore. And the best thing for him is, just look at him in Porto,
In
the way
Porto,
he
yeah.
forward, his crosses. But when they come to the Super Eagles, I see it very different there, and I'm like, what's going on?
Mm.
Is it that the
Mm.
coach is it what exactly is changing? Why are we not
Mm.
seeing them replicate the same? Look at England, for instance. Whatever it is that they're playing for their club, they come to the national team to replicate it. But for us, things become a bit more different, and you begin to question: is it the same player I watched last weekend? Because you don't see the same level of commitment, you don't see the same level of seriousness, or you don't see the same level of performance from these guys, and you begin to ask questions to say, "Oh, should this guy really be?" Sometimes we begin to say, "I play past this guy," and it's funny how Nigerians get to do these things. Like, I can play more than this guy. But, but it's because the kind of performance we see when they come to the Eagles is quite different. It's a lot more different when
Mm.
they are at their club side. But let's also not forget that they play with a different group, you know, at the club
And
side.
probably a different system that's actually
Exactly.
very different to what they play at the Super Eagles.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to go on a quick break now, Amos. And when we come back, we also look at another player that quite recently has been generating a lot of interest from the Super Eagles. And I know also we mentioned him about, was it last week? And it's Ademola Lookman. He scored a goal, but obviously was ruled out for offside for Leicester. And also we'll be talking about Michael Minola coming back to English Premier League, and we'll also look at the manager merry-go-round and the week of sacks. Dean Smith got sacked from Aston Villa, and
Very interesting.
obviously David Falcao got sacked from Norwich. Who should we expect to take over from there? So we're going on a quick break, and when we come back, we still continue our discussion on the football show with Amos and I, Wale. Stay there. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's second half. We've already been the first half of the show where we talked about the Super Eagles and obviously the breaking news that came about just about 3 hours ago. The Maduka Okoye is teamed up with Watford City in the English Premier League. So he's going to be joining from Sparta Rotterdam come January 1st, 2022. Good move, we said. And hopefully that will be something that will be beneficial, obviously, to Super Eagles on the long run because he's going to be facing some of the best strikers in the world. So before we went on the break, Amos, we were talking about Ademola Lookman, another person that the NFF is looking into recruiting to join the Super Eagles. The way it is like he's probably going to find it very hard to get into the Three Lions at the moment. I was talking about the England setup. So the best option will probably be to teaming up with the Super Eagles, which I think is actually obviously looking forward to. Again, we've talked about that in the past. We talked about the fact that he's going to be contending with quite a lot of people that are playing the same position. So if he decides to want to come to join the Super Eagles Nigeria, how is he going to fit in? Is he going to be a guy that also will be operating from the wings? Is he going to be converted to a midfielder, an attacking midfielder? Is that going to be a waste of his talent, especially due to his pace? I know he's very good at dribbles, but his pace is going to be limited when he is an attacking midfielder. So, what's the way forward? We've got quite a lot of players that I think Mr. Raw and our chief scout, Amaju Pinnick, has been looking at. What do you think? Should we just concentrate on the players we have now, or should we still be looking out for players who are of Nigerian origin that we think we can bring back to the Super Eagles and using Ademola Lookman as a template now?
I think it's really clear. Any player who is from Nigeria um, or Nigerian descent qualifies to play for Nigeria if
Mm,
they so wish, right? If they show interest that I want to play for my motherland or my fatherland or whatever it is that is called, if they show interest, if they signify that interest that I'm interested in playing for Nigeria,
mm,
I think nobody should question that. But where the question should be is, are they good enough? You know,
mm,
does this player really deserve a look in? Does this player really deserve to be in our Super Eagles? Our Super Eagles is our biggest property. Or should they
mm,
start from the under 23s or start from the under 20s, depending on how old the players are? So for me, I usually think that, or I often think, okay, if this guy is that good, before now, that's what we see. If you're very good, you're born abroad, you want to play for the Super Eagles, they first send you to the under 23 or they send you to the under 20 team, go and bond there, go and learn how to play for the Super Eagles from there before you develop into a proper Super Eagles. Before you develop into a proper Super Eagles player, you don't just jump into the Super Eagles when you are not JJ
mm.
Okocha. So that's how it was at the time. But now, right now, um, come on, everybody, even those who play in second, third division, fourth division, they want to play for the Super Eagles. But it's because
Mhm,
of how the Super Eagles is right now. Just anybody comes to play. Even the Maduka Okoye that we talked about the last time, he was in the third division when he was invited to the Super Eagles for his first call up.
mm,
So we've also seen players who are not playing in the top flight, but they play for the best or the highest level of football in our country. That's not how it should be. Coming down to Lukman, Ademola Lukman, I think he's a good player, but the question is it the right time to bring him to the Super Eagles? Because I don't think there is anything too spectacular that Lukman is going to bring to the Super Eagles.
mm,
He's not too different from Chidera Ejuke. It's not too far from Samuel Kalu. Samuel Kalu is even a bit more older, and he's got that experience. I don't. I'm not. I don't want to compare him to Moses Simon now because Moses Simon has reached that level where you can say, oh, he can play against anybody, he can play at any height. He has also seen it at the world stage, except for the fact that he missed the World Cup in 2018, I think. So if and that was due to injury. So if Ademola Lookman has deemed it fit to play for Nigeria, I honestly think that he shouldn't just get into the national team just that simply, that simple way, because hey, we've got enough squad, we've got enough men, especially where he plays.
Mm.
And I'm not sure who he's going to displace, except there is an underhand underhand tactics.
Or
I'm
probably
trying to
injuries.
yeah, exactly. Except there is any major injury to the players who used to be available. But aside from that, I don't really see him displacing anyone right now. Who does he want to put on the bench? Who does he want to? Is it because Moses Simon will offer you going forward, coming covering for the right fullback?
Mm.
Samuel Kalu is there. There's also who again on the wing. You also have
Chidera,
Chidera
Eduke,
Ejuke. There is this guy in Villarreal. There is what's his name now? Um,
uh,
the
Chukwueze,
Chukwueze, Samuel
Chukwueze.
Chukwueze. So we've got that option. And I'm like, okay, if he had come earlier, probably
Mm.
he would have shown what he's capable of, what he can do. Look at the list. Samuel, I mean, I'm not even mentioned Ahmed Musa.
Ahmed
You know,
Musa, yeah.
and for sure, there is nothing you and I are going to say. Ahmed Musa will go to the World Cup if we qualify.
Yeah,
Musa will
yeah,
go to the Nations Cup if we qualify. So
yeah.
again, you ask yourself, but for him to fancy his chance, I would say that he should really try and start from maybe. It's okay to honor call ups to the senior national team, but he should also open himself up to playing for maybe the under 23. When they give him that look in, he should embrace it, because if England under 23 calls him, he's going to play. You know,
Mm.
he shouldn't throw away that chance. It's an opportunity that I think is going to work for him really, really well. But I really am not sure about him coming into the national team, the senior national team. What
Mm.
exactly is he bringing that is so different from what we've got already? He's got that pace. He's got some dribbles. We've got players who are also that skillful.
Yeah.
So but he is a good player. I must
Mm.
agree. He's a good player, but not um too fantastic. There's nothing too fantastic or out of this world to be too excited about. If it was someone like maybe there's a player who wanted to switch to Nigeria at some point. I think we're hearing some at some point about Dele Ali. Oh, he's
Mm.
Nigerian.
Mm.
And then it was really hot. If
Mm.
they perhaps Dele Ali had, it would have been a lot of noise at the time, because that
Exactly.
means we've
Yeah.
got another option going forward.
Forward. Yeah.
Especially from the midfield to the attack,
Mm.
not just from,
Yeah.
from the wing. From the wing, we've got quite a number of options. And hey, General doesn't want to play 4-4-2. He doesn't want to play pull out for me. Let my player, exactly. There's also Ovie
Of
Ejaria,
yeah, Ejara, yeah.
or if Eze with Crystal Palace says, oh guys, I
Yeah.
want to play for Nigeria, we get very excited, because we see what these guys can bring, how much contribution they can bring. Ebere Eze, yeah. If you're talking Lukman, Ademola Lukman, and then I begin to think, okay, what is he going to bring different
Mm.
that we don't already have? But you know, we like the fact that we have enough options in those wings, on the wings. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So there's obviously another Nigerian we're looking forward to um, lighting up the Premier League. This time, not as a footballer, but as an administrator. And a lot of people, I've spoken to some colleagues, but even back home in Nigeria, back in the days, that they were so thrilled at what Michael Emenalo did for Chelsea. It was credited with setting up, well, a machinery that actually produced players. He's credited to being someone that's got foresight to knowing players that would be, better players in the future. The Chelsea Academy, a lot of people credit him for developing it to what it is today. They're producing the like of Mason Mount, uh, um, 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 Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and all of them. And obviously also credited with getting Kevin De Bruyne to Chelsea, Mo Salah at some point, and Romelu Lukaku before all of them went their separate ways. Worked under 10 managers in 10 years at Chelsea. That's something brilliant. And he was never sacked. But you now decided, I've had enough. Let me leave. Someone that started as a scout with Chelsea, became a chief scout, became an assistant first team manager, then became a
Mm.
technical director. He went to Monaco, it didn't work out well for him, obviously for some reasons. But he seems to be very much at home with the Premier League. And they're thinking he's going to be the next technical director for Newcastle. Newcastle, obviously, is the richest club in the world at the moment. Um, do you think he'll be able to reproduce that brilliance at Chelsea? Obviously, Newcastle does need something like that at the moment because they also need that machinery to produce talents, not just talents within England, but also to attract talents from outside England to be able to get in money, just like Chelsea way. Chelsea had an army of loanees back in the days that they were selling at some point, and they were bringing in money to Chelsea.
Mm.
Uh, Minalo is silent, but he's very effective. Does the job he paid to do. Unfortunately, we don't have those kind of people managing football in Nigeria, and it's a shame. But do you think he's the right fix for Newcastle, and you think he can reproduce what he did at Chelsea?
What it seemed to me is that Newcastle have a plan, right? I feel like they really have a plan and they want to transform the club. So they're trying to get a working model that is going to work for a very long time. That's why they would even mention someone like Emenalo. You will agree that Emenalo was quite successful at Chelsea. You also
Mm.
made mention of the players that he produced during his tenure at Chelsea. The players he also signed on for Chelsea. He's got high for good players. That's what you will find out. He understands the system, working in very difficult. When people put on their CV, oh, I can work with less supervision, I can work under pressure, and you really work under pressure. So
Exactly.
Emenalo has worked at the highest level of pressure.
True.
If
Definitely.
somebody is able to work with Chelsea owners,
Hmm.
you can agree that it can work anywhere. It can
Hmm.
work anywhere. So what that means is that they are ready for a transformation. They are ready to become um a very good and effective ground for producing stars, because what has happened to Newcastle is look at how they are playing now. They're not in their best. They're not at their best at the moment. I think they are even on they're 19th. They're 19th on the log right now.
But they've not
So
won a
that's
game.
that's really terrible. That's really terrible. So it tells you that a lot is wrong with that team at this time. Anybody who takes a job at Liverpool at not Newcastle right now is taking a risk, and the
Hmm.
person is ready for the challenge. So looking at someone like Emenalo, he's seen it, he's been there, he's done it. He's ready to replicate it again at Newcastle. He understands the English system. He understands working with those kind of owners. The stakes are high, really. The stakes
Hmm.
are really high, and the club, they've got a lot of money to throw around, but they have to do that bearing in mind the financial fair play rule,
Yeah.
and that's going to curb a bit of how much they're going to spend, what is it that they're going to do, their business in the market is going to be a little bit curtailed when it comes to spendings, but they've got what it takes to to spend money. Money is not going to be the problem. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
Emenalo, what do you need? Tell us what you need, and we'll make it happen. But the board has to listen. That's another thing. If he comes up with an advice, are the board ready is the board ready to listen to him? So the only time you can be successful as a sporting director or a technical director is if the board is willing to listen to you. Look at
Mm-hmm.
what has happened to us now. Look at the crop of players they've produced over the years. Look at the likes of Manchester United. They produce young players who have gone ahead to conquer the world. And this is the only model that works. You don't. I don't think it's about, oh, just sign up a player and then no. So you also have to look at Manchester City as well. Look at the crop of players that they've produced in the last couple of years. Foden is from that fold as well.
Yeah.
Those players are hungry. They are fantastic. They are the best crop of players that you can find. Every boy that has come through the ranks from Manchester City, from Chelsea, from the likes of Arsenal, they play at the best stage. Look at Saka today. We're talking about
Mm,
Saka as well. So, but they are all products of a good system. They are all
mm,
products of a working model that you can see. So probably Newcastle are just ready to go that route as well, and you never can tell. I know we're still going to talk about their new manager, but
mm.
you know,
And that's the thing. That's what brings us to the next question about Eddie Howe, who's going to be the Newcastle um, manager, head coach. They say the last club he managed, Bournemouth, he led them into relegation. That was more of a minus in his CV, but he brought them up from
mm,
from League One all the way to
mm,
Championship and obviously Premier League, sustained them there before getting them
but they went
relegated.
down.
He's a bright young coach, English coach. But he's got his job cut out for himself now at Newcastle. Newcastle is a different ball game. Newcastle is more like a religion to the people there in that part of the north. It's a religion, So with the pressure there, you mentioned the Milan being used to pressure. Eddie is not used to that much pressure because in the South Coast, Bournemouth, well, it's just little old Bournemouth. And we can afford to come back after going relegation. But in Newcastle, no, it's not like that. I mean, if you go down with Newcastle, you're like worse than Judas, okay? Because they will always remember you for that. So, what's the outlook for him? Is he going to save them from relegation?
I think they went for Unai Emery, and
He
it,
said
wa- it
no.
wasn't go- it wasn't going to work.
No way.
Unai Emery is like,
No.
no way, I'm not coming.
Coaching Champions League to relegation candidates.
I don't think it would have been a very wise decision if
Mm,
Unai had decided to come to Newcastle. They would try to woo him with a lot of money, but he would also look at his career and say, "Hey, at this time,
mm,
is it the money that I want, or I really want to achieve something?" In no time. With the Champions League team that he's
mm,
got, they can compete in the league as well, in the La Liga. But for how, he's been around these kind of teams. He understands what it is, what it demands are with Newcastle. He might not have that top coaching experience, but he's got enough experience in the league. He understands the league. He has been there with a team of this nature, and he knows what to do to tweak their situation. So I believe that for the club to have decided to go that route, they've consulted all the desired coaches, but they are not available. So the available one became the desired one. And that's
mm,
what I think. They've looked at all their options. They're like, oh, okay, these guys are not available. Okay, who is available that can help us? And then they decided to look at that route, which is not a bad idea after all, because he's someone who has enjoyed the EPL. You know, he has enjoyed his time. He spent about 5 years with Bournemouth, and within those 5 years, he brought them from League Two, from League One, down to the Premier League. That's not a joke. You know, he has
Mm,
also played the game. He understands the game. But what is he going to bring? You know, he is that kind of a coach that enforces pressure. You know, if you are playing Bournemouth at the time, you know,
oh
you're not
yeah.
going to rest. You know, they keep chasing
Mhm,
you about. You know, you're not going to. It's very difficult. It's a very difficult team to play. So it's going to make them difficult. But look at the problems they have right now. They're just conceding goals. They're not even
mm,
scoring. They're not even beating anybody. But I think they need a coach that can come and put a stop to that first, and then before they start picking up again. And I think he might not be the bad man for the job, but he's got Brentford to deal with on the 20th of November. So we'll find out.
It's
We'll
good
find
we're
out.
having the international break so we can at least put
Take some
some
time.
sense exactly into these players. Well, I think we just got 3 minutes before we leave. And we're not going to talk about stars of the week. And I know you've chosen someone you chose last week. And the name again?
You know, it's Cyril Desas. Cyril Desas is still my man of the week because
Hmm.
he doesn't like, I don't know how he manages to do these things. He doesn't start in those games and then he comes on, he scores the only goal, and you know, the same thing he did last week. He came on in the 60th minute or thereabouts, and then he got the lone goal for his team against Sparta Rotterdam, against we mentioned earlier against the Maduka Okoye's team. And then this
Yeah.
week he did it again. He came on and then got the goal. A lot of kudos must go to this man. He's scored quite a number of goals this season as well. You want to give credit to a kind of a player like this. He's a top scorer. You know, it tells you that hey, this guy knows where the post is.
Mm,
He doesn't have to struggle for too much. He doesn't have to struggle for all 90 minutes before he scores the goal. And I think the coach has found a way to use him, you know, introduce him, bring him, and let him come and get the goal, you know, and it's
mm.
working. So
That's
the coach might perhaps say, okay, maybe Cyril, let's just make him our joker. Every time we need a help, we just bring him on, and then the man gets the goal. But
that,
you know, I want to see him
that's
back
new.
again in the Nigerian Super Eagles team.
That's your definition of a super sub. So yeah,
Exactly.
we got two stars of the week today, and second person will be Asisa Toswala. Asisa has been doing incredibly well for FC Barcelona Femini.
Mhm.
She's been scoring. I think she's got 10 or 11 goals so far this season with Barcelona, and they
Mm.
seem to be just doing extremely well in everything they touch. So kudos to Cyril and Asisa. They're going to be Cyril is going to be back to back star of the week for us, and Assistant is making a show in the star of the week category. So congratulations to both Assistant and Serial. And well, that's our show for today, Amos. So next week. There'll be no league. The internationals will be on the lookout for whoever the start of the week is going to be there. Something tells me, Amos, that it's going to be Odione Gallo.
We can't
Some,
tell, you know.
something tells me it's gonna be Odione Gallo, and we
You
will
never can
see.
tell. You never can tell. It could just be our savior. You know, the
Exactly
man knows how to deliver when it matters,
when it
especially for the Super
matters.
Eagles. You know, so we can
Exactly,
only wish them the best. And so when we
exactly.
come back next week, we're able to smile, we're able to laugh, we're not lashing out at anybody. We're not talking on a negative note. We're talking on a
Uh,
positive note.
all of you now, you've heard what Amos have said. So we don't want to lash nobody come Monday. So you better do your job and score and beat Liberia. Not just beat them, but beat them silly. Okay, we just wanted 3 points to Tigers. All right, just do that for us. We need to be in the World Cup in Qatar. All right. Amos, thank you for today. It's always a pleasure chatting football with you. At times, always flies when we talk about football.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see you again next week when we talk mainly when we'll be reviewing the Super Eagles against Liberia. I'll be looking forward to the Cape Verde one. Thank you, Amos.
All right. Have a good night.
And you too, mate. So that's our show for today. Thank you so much for being there for us, and special thanks to Yomi Omokbeja, who is well. Our thoughts and prayers are with him at this time. Thank you, Yomi, for taking time out of your busy schedule at this moment in time for putting this package together. Thank you so much. And also, thank you so much to Amos for coming on the show, for being my co-presenter here today. I hope you have a wonderful. I hope you've had a wonderful time with us discussing football. Everything we discuss. If you like it, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you think there's anywhere we can improve, leave a message in the comment box. Okay, and don't forget to subscribe and tell someone about this program. Until we come your way next week at the same time, 8 p.m. at this time and 9 p.m. in Nigeria time. Don't forget the time has gone back. I remain Wally. Have a nice week. Okay, good night.